Global warming facts. One of today's most important challenges is global warming. Whether you choose to believe it or not, everyone and everything in the globe is impacted by global warming. The Earth is currently in its warmest state since it first began. The basics and anticipated repercussions of global warming, should it continue uncontrolled, are explained in these global warming facts. Climate change differs from global warming. Only the rise in global temperatures caused by human activities is referred to as global warming. Contrarily, climate change refers to both the causes and consequences of global warming. This includes changing weather patterns and rising sea levels. Heat waves and accelerated desertification are additional consequences that result in flooding and reduced yields. Something that is obvious given the facts about global warming, yet is nonetheless significant. The greenhouse effect occurs naturally. In terms of the facts about global warming, this needs to be clarified. The average temperature of Earth would be below zero without the greenhouse effect. It functions when surface heat from the sun isn't reflected back into space. Instead, the heat is absorbed and retained by greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This is comparable to how the walls, ceiling, and roof of a greenhouse maintain heat inside the structure, hence the name. Carbon dioxide, methane, and even water vapor are examples of greenhouse gases. The atmosphere contains each of the gases. Only when their levels are significantly raised as a result of human activity does the atmosphere get trapped with these gases and heat, contributing to global warming. The primary source of extra greenhouse gases is fossil fuels. Carbon dioxide, the most prevalent greenhouse gas, is released into the atmosphere when fossil fuels are burned. It's not the only source, though. Another significant source is decayed plant materials and animal waste from farming operations. Methane is the resultant greenhouse gas in this instance. Although it is less frequent than carbon dioxide, it is an 84% more potent greenhouse gas. Frozen methane can be released into the atmosphere by warmer ocean water. One particularly hazardous effect of global warming is this. Even scientists have called it a ticking time bomb. Clathrate hydrates are ice crystals that can become trapped with methane. They are very prevalent close to the ice caps. These crystals have a lot of methane inside of them. Methane will return to the atmosphere through the water once they have melted. One of the more worrying global warming facts, undoubtedly. Tsunamis can be caused by ice melting. This is due to the fact that clathrate hydrate ice crystals can be found deep under the ocean floor. They will take up a lot of room after they melt. Then the area's earth will fill the empty space, resulting in little earthquakes. This will then cause the nearby water to move around sufficiently to cause a tsunami. Permafrost could melt worldwide due to global warming. The subsurface is always frozen during the permafrost phenomena, even during the summer. Only at the most northern or southern latitudes, near the ice caps, does this occur. The ground becomes stable and hard as a result. The local geography could improve or deteriorate if the permafrost melts. The local infrastructure is also impacted by this. For instance, permafrost melting has resulted in homes sinking into the ground. Over the last 2 decades, sea levels have increased by at least 3 millimeters annually. The annual increase is expected to climb in the future, which is much worse. Sea levels could rise by 61 to 110 centimeters during the 21st century, according to scientists. This water will be 90% meltwater from the Antarctic. Cities and even countries may disappear off the map due to rising sea levels. Though less dramatic than it might seem, this is still quite horrible. Whole island countries, like the Maldives, could vanish. Shanghai, Venice, and even New York are in risk of submerging underwater. Whole coastlines will vanish, as in the case of low-lying nations like the Netherlands in Europe and Bangladesh in Asia. If these global warming facts haven't troubled you yet, they most certainly will now. Sea level rise is not the only effect of melting ice caps. The ice tops are all made of frozen fresh water, which explains this. The ocean currents will be impacted by the sudden inflow of so much fresh water. The rising and lowering of cold and warm water is what causes these currents. However, compared to fresh water, salt water rises and falls more slowly. The current balance that controls the currents is upset as fresh water is supplied. A new equilibrium will emerge, but it will require a period without any currents. The climate will be significantly impacted, particularly in North America and Europe. For temperature regulation, both rely on the Atlantic Gulf Stream. The summers will become hotter and the winters would become colder if the Gulf Stream ceases. The oceans may become acidic due to global warming. The ocean's ecosystem can be completely destroyed by even a small pH change. Ocean water absorbs carbon dioxide from the air, forming carbonic acid as a result. Even though it is a weak acid, it is sufficient to destroy and disintegrate coral. When you consider that coral reefs are important habitats for marine life, that is bad enough. Acidic ocean water also has an impact on fish and shellfish outside of their ecosystem. Reduced fish stocks or complete loss of marine life could result from this. Humans would be impacted by the former as a key food source on which they rely would be compromised. There are numerous ways to combat global warming. Many more steps need to be taken, even if some of these solutions have already been partially implemented. A few ideas aimed at reducing global warming include reforestation and low-carbon technology. The most promising strategy is switching to green energy from fossil fuels. That is one of the more reassuring global warming facts right there. It will take centuries for the Earth's climate to recover. This is referred to as climate inertia. There are already too many greenhouse gases present in the atmosphere, which is also too warm. All the greenhouse gases must naturally dissipate before it can begin to cool. Imagine it as the time it takes for a car to halt after you step on the brakes. Global warming should be stopped while the climate stabilizes with optimism and a lot of action. All we have to do is stop adding new greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. We must also stop endangering the planet's capacity to regulate its temperature. If we don't, global warming will continue unabated, and the climate will continue to change, possibly for the worse. That's for now. We appreciate you being here. View more our channel videos.